All right, YouTube friends, Kris Krohn here with Limitless Wealth TV, and today we're talking about how do you go about paying off your house early, and I'm going to share with you, hands down, my favorite strategy, kind of compare it to society's strategy, and see if we can help you take a 30-year game and turn it into a 5-year game. All right, how do you get your house paid off fast? This is a really good question, but before I show you how to pay it off as fast as possible, let's first understand that I'm not gonna share with you the traditional methodology, right? Here's the traditional methodology. Here's my house, and I'm gonna do a 30-year plan. That just happens to coincide with a 30-year mortgage, right? Some of you might say, but Kris, I got a 15-year plan. Yeah, that's the 15-year mortgage. I get it, right? I own my property, I'd like to get it paid off. On a 30-year plan, you're gonna pay for that house 2.5 times. That's because of what you have to give the bank up front with interest fees, and as it amortizes out over the course of the life of the loan, the bank is gonna make a lot of bank on your property. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but if my goal is to pay it off, are you open to a more intelligent approach? Well, my approach is a little bit different. This is a real estate investing channel. So let me share with you what I would do to take 30 years and turn it into 5 years. Would that be cool for you? Okay, first of all, you got this property, and if you're aggressively throwing money at it, then chances are you're building some equity with the property. Banks will usually let you lend on up to 80 or 90% of the value of your home. So let's just entertain a scenario where you have some equity in this home. Let's say that you have $50,000. Now, there are two ways to access this. You could do a cash out refinance, incur probably $5,000, $6,000 worth of lending fees, or you could do it for free with what's called a home equity line of credit. I really like HELOCs. The HELOC basically says you have a $50,000 line of credit, like a credit card, but it's tied to your house. And when you use it, then we charge you interest. When it's paid back, we don't. HELOCs usually are super cheap money. Let's call it 3 to 4%. So all of a sudden, I've got $50,000 line of credit, and I'm like, well, this is good. That means that I've paid off some equity in my house. Why on earth would I ever use that home equity line if my goal is to pay it off? This is where I'm going to show you how to take one step backwards to take 2 giant steps forward. Here's the faith leap. Take that 50 grand, and let me show you how to put it into another property that is an investment. This is P for primary. This is your home. This is the one that we want to get paid off, and if you want to pay it off faster, we're going to allow an investment property to help make that happen. Let's say that we find a house with a 20% discount in an equity growth market. I've got houses that I do every single day just like this. So I take you on one of my markets and we get a 20% discounted home. The $50,000 is another 20% down payment. So now all of a sudden you got the house 40% paid down. It's almost half paid off. And when a house is half paid off, do you know what that means for the cash flow? In my system, that means that the cash flow is really high. First of all, high enough that when you do borrow the home equity line for this, that 3 to 4% is going to have a monthly fee. Let's call it $200 a month. But if over here I'm making $500 a month, then guess what? That means that I've got enough money here to pay that. And that's the principle that you need to understand. You are creating more debt. And then when you buy an investment property, the 60% still there, that's also more debt. Now I've got more debt here and I've got more debt there. That's the step backwards. However, what happens if you cash flow this home $500 a month, you're netting $300 because $200 goes back to pay your home equity line? What happens when that home in these growth markets experiences 5-8% annual appreciation? And let's just say in 2 years, you have a choice. You can sell that home. You can get your 20% back out and wipe out your home equity line. You can get the 20% that you found the property with. You've got all your cash flows you collected on it, plus you've got the growth in the market. Let's say that you could sell this house and make $50,000. After paying this 50 grand back. Now just think about that for a minute. We went in, played real estate game, Monopoly, for a couple of years, and look what happened. We returned the $50,000, which means that our debt went down. But if I wanted, I could take this 50 grand and pay off my house 50 grand faster. Do you know how much you actually paid on your house in 5 years to the bank? A whole lot less than $50,000. So you've done something really good here. In addition, you were still paying down your house. Now, I want to ask you, do you want to put the $50,000 of profit into this house, or would you like to put it in another house? Well, if it worked one time and I've gotten it to work thousands, then you'd go and say, oh, I want to buy another house. And you might say, but Kris, what if I use that home equity line And I use that to also buy another house. In fact, what if we strategically put our money together that we bought 3 smaller houses? Well, guess what I have now? Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. Even more than I had counteracting the home equity line. I've got equity, equity, equity. And let's just say in a few years I go to sell those houses, and now all of a sudden I've been able to roll that into $180,000 of profit after I paid back my home equity line again. Now I come back here. If you've got a normal size house like most people, you paid off your house. And then you get the other dilemma. But couldn't I keep investing? Yeah, you could keep investing. But now you have a paid off asset, and now you have other assets to go and buy more real estate. So ultimately, 2 choices here, right? You can pay off your house through the bank, which is why you're gonna pay for it 2.5 times, and it's gonna take 30 years, or you could do it a whole lot faster by using some of the equity and by putting it into more real estate. And that's how you pay off your house a lot faster. If you want a professional team that will help you build a portfolio and maneuver all that and make all of that happen while letting you have 100% of the profits, you may want to check out my website and see some of the things that we're doing around here, because I'm telling you, we're all about accelerating your results and helping you experience exponential growth in your wealth.